What is up, you guys? Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. It will really help my channel out and it will ensure that you never miss any of my videos. Now, in today's video, I wanted to actually do a follow-up to a video that I did. I don't know if it was my second video on my channel, but it was what I wish I knew before getting married. And that was quite a popular video on my channel, so I thought I'll do a follow-up and do a part 2 of the things that I experienced and personally of what I wish I knew, based on, you know, my age, being in my 20s when I got married, and also being married to someone who's from a different culture, if that makes sense, because I feel like culture plays a big role in how two people are together in a relationship, in a marriage, and whether you actually can see eye to eye on things, or whether it, I guess, is difficult in some instances. So I thought I would just do a follow-up because I've got a lot of stories to share, and I know you guys are going to enjoy this because I love watching these kind of videos. So let's get straight into the video. So if you have watched part 1, then you will know that I spoke a lot about our wedding. If you haven't obviously watched that, I'll link it up above and you can go watch that now or after this video. But we had a lot of stuff relating to the wedding that was really difficult, and we just couldn't see eye to eye on anything, whether it was the planning, what I was going to wear, just anything. And to sort of continue on from that, because we cancelled the wedding celebration after we had our religious wedding, it was coming up to Eid that year. I think it was a few months after we had originally got married, and because we weren't having the wedding celebration, what his mum did, which we didn't know, was that she planned the Eid party to be our wedding celebration. But she didn't tell us, but she had told everyone else that was going to the Eid party. So basically, the photographer that we had for our wedding and our civil, he was the photographer for the Eid party, and it was at her house. It was always going to be at her house because that's how they usually do Eid. But what we didn't know was, when we arrived, everyone was congratulating us, but also saying how they're excited to be like there at the wedding party, and we were so confused, like, no, this is an Eid party from what we know, because we're not having a wedding celebration, especially one that we didn't actually plan or know anything about. And the reason why I knew this was not just an Eid party was because everyone was bringing us money and gifts, like you would when you're going to a reception or something like that. And the way the photographer was taking pictures of us in very bride and groom type poses, and everyone was saying, you know, it's our moment and stuff like that. And for us thinking, this is just Eid, why is everyone making the attention on us and acting like it's our wedding? And also we had a wedding cake there, which we had to cut and take pictures of us cutting the cake as you would on your wedding. So stuff like that was just like, okay, where's the communication? We said we didn't want a wedding party because of all these reasons, which I mentioned in my part 1, so I'm not going to mention now, but why are we acting like this is a wedding celebration because you just want to show off to your friends, if that makes sense? Now, what I've noticed about being married to someone who's from a completely different culture than I am is the women do everything. Like, when I mean everything, I mean everything. From the cooking to the cleaning to just being on top of everything, to organising everything, and especially when it comes to these big like do's and stuff, which I never even liked to go into, would basically all turn up to the person's house and spend the whole morning preparing and cooking and clearing up, and then obviously then getting ready for the actual Eid party, and then once the party was over, then the women will do all the cleaning and just put everything away. And it's not just a standard like dinner, do you know what I mean? It's like a proper massive party with like everything set up, literally the whole like house is rearranged. You have these big trays with food like you would at a buffet. If I have pictures, I'll insert them. And for someone like me who works, or worked at that time, 9 till 5, you know, 5 days a week, whereas their women typically stay home and the men work, so they've got all the time to, you know, do all that and actually find time to relax, whereas I didn't. I kind of felt like I haven't been brought up in a way where only the women do things. So when I was there helping out, I would sort of look over to my husband like, are you not going to help? Because I kind of was not used to that, and I don't feel like women should do everything. Yeah, if you're not working, fair enough, you know, you do more of this stuff whilst your husband goes out to work. But I was working just as much as my husband, if not sometimes more, and the last thing I want to do is do everything, whereas he's just sitting back watching TV when there's a lot to do, especially at these do's and stuff where I actually didn't want to be there, and also ones where it was just her and her friends. I just felt like, why are we here, and why am I having to do everything just because now I'm like the daughter-in-law, and it's more about showing me off and showing me as a housewife as opposed to anything else. And I just didn't like that kind of thing, because there's more to me than just how much I can cook and clean and help out at these do's. It's almost like you're being judged for how much you're helping out or how much you're not helping out, or how well you clean and do all this kind of stuff. And it's really irritating, the fact that you can't just go there, help out, and not feel like everything you're doing is being watched and judged by people who you probably only see once a year or probably won't even see again. Now, a big part of getting married is finances, and both of you bringing your individual finances into one household and now merging it together and making it one. I grew up with parents who both worked but also put their finances together, the majority of it anyway, and they had a joint bank account, and all their like mortgage, their bills and everything will go out of that one account. And yeah, they may have separate accounts, but they sort of both knew where the money was going, if that makes sense. So when we got married, for a long while we both had our individual accounts, and what we would do is he would transfer me rent money or bills or whatever, and then we would go half and half, and then I would pay them, because I just felt like I was used to doing more of that stuff, so I just wanted to be on top of it. Where I realised that was not working for us, and I feel like doesn't work for most couples, is when you're not knowing necessarily where the other person is spending the rest of their money. Because I didn't want to feel like I'm nagging or chasing or asking where's your money going, because that's your money. But now being a married couple, you kind of need to be on top of that kind of stuff and know exactly what he's spending, and he knows what I'm spending. So where we sort of fell behind a little bit was the fact that rent wasn't being transferred, or bill money wasn't being transferred on time, and then I felt like I had to stress because I needed to pay that on time, and I don't like paying things on late or worrying about stuff, and I felt like I couldn't keep on top of it like that. So where it really helped us was when we decided together to get a joint account. So not only were we putting in rent money and bills and stuff into that one account, we were putting all our money into that one account, So then once all these important stuff went out, then we knew exactly, okay, I've got this much left. You know, if you want to buy something, go buy something. If we want to go out and spend on dinner or a date, wherever we can, because we know exactly how much is going out and we can both keep a track of it, instead of, you know, me saying, oh well, I kind of want to buy this month, but I don't know where we are at with money, and him also thinking the same thing. So what I would recommend is, if you are someone who's just got married or looking to get married, really consider putting all your finances in one place, at least the majority of your finances in one place, just so you know where you are with that stuff, and it will really take away the stress of chasing and wondering how much is that other person spending. And this kind of comes down to him being from the culture he is, because I feel like they're not in a bad way, but the men seem to be a bit more babied growing up than people from a European culture, just from what I've witnessed. And it might not necessarily be everyone from that culture, but definitely from his family. He was quite babied and never really had to take care of that much stuff on his own. I mean, he had his car bills and he had phone and stuff like that, but it was never to the point where he had so much stuff going out that he had to keep a track of. And also now, when you've got your own place and you've got so much more responsibilities and you've got another person to be responsible for, it's a lot more added pressure than just paying your car finances or petrol or phone bill, you know. So I really recommend talking about that and deciding what's comfortable for you guys when you're getting married, or, you know, if you decide to have kids, because that is when the struggle is going to come, when you've got even more people added to the family. So moving on to the beginning of us getting married, I sort of, as a woman, felt more pressure to please his mum and also please his family than I did when we were dating, or than I do now. Because obviously it's just like a common thing where you just want to impress people and you want them to like you, and you just want to be you know, the best possible version of yourself, and for them to be like, yes, you know, I'm glad you married my son. But I took it to a point where everything I did or everything I said, I was worried, what are they going to think, you know? Not just his parents friends as well, and family, because with their cultures, like, their friends are so heavily involved in their lives and also their kids' lives, which I'm not used to. So it's kind of like you have to not only impress the mum but also impress her friends. And I just felt this added pressure of, I'm not good enough in their eyes, in the sense that I'm not like a typical Malaysian housewife, because I have been brought up here. I'm obviously European, and I'm more of a career-driven person as well. So I don't just stay at home, you know, cooking all day and doing stuff to please my husband. I actually go out and work and earn my own money. Obviously we're not talking about now being made redundant, but usually that is how it is, and I feel like it's a 50-50 kind of thing, whereas I feel like for them it's more of a 80-20. So the woman would do the majority of the stuff and take care of everything, and then the husband would just basically earn the money, come home, eat, sleep, go back to work kind of thing. And like I said, I'm not speaking on culture as a whole, I'm just speaking on his family and my experience, where the women have too much pressure on them to be a certain way and to be a good housewife, and take care of the household whilst the man goes out to work, whereas I'm not used to that. And I felt like that's where I was being judged by his mum and her friends, because I would get a lot of added pressure on kids and stuff like that, and that is a personal matter, and you know, it's something that happens when it happens, and I kind of felt like they thought that by me working and doing all that kind of stuff, I probably wasn't going to have kids, or I was going to have kids late. Like, where's the kids now? Because as soon as you get married, it's like, when are you having a baby? And it just doesn't work that way. So yeah, that was just something that was really hard, is just trying to please people, because I feel like in life in general, I'm a people pleaser. So when it comes to that as well, like, I was literally stressing all the time, like, what am I saying this right? Am I doing this right? And that just wasn't fair. Sort of moving on in a way that's very relatable to my previous point, is about his mum's friends getting involved in everything, and also her family. Like, I would be compared a lot to other Malay women, or, you know, the typical housewife, or even his ex. Now, when you go into a new relationship, especially when you get married to someone, you don't want to be compared to their ex, especially when their ex was that annoying person that would literally try and get involved in your relationship. And she probably thought I didn't know that, but I do. So she failed, obviously, but that's not the point. But yeah, just being compared to her, because she was the type of person I feel like that would be like, yes, I will do this, I will wear a headscarf, I will be this perfect housewife, blah blah blah. Whereas me, I'm a bit more independent, and I stick to what I believe and my own culture. And that's probably where they thought, like, why is this girl not agreeing to what we want? So yeah, just the comparison was the difficult part, because it's not that my husband was comparing me, it's that his mum was comparing me, and his family would compare me. And that was throughout our relationship and early on in our marriage. I mean, it stopped a long time ago now, but just feeling already like you're not good enough, or you're trying so hard but you're not being able to fit in, and then to be compared to someone else for no apparent reason, is just something that will obviously take a big toll on your feelings, and obviously on your mental health as well. And just moving on to, I kind of touched upon it already, but I just wanted to say about the pressure of having a baby and, you know, having kids straight away as soon as you get married. Because a lot of people I know from the Asian culture, even his culture, they typically get married, and I kid you not, within the first year probably have their first baby, or at least get pregnant. And yes, as much as I would love that to be me, and that to be my life, and to get pregnant that easily, and to have had a baby, you know, 4 years ago when we first got married, it's just not that easy. And I feel like it's really hard to explain that to them, because they just don't understand. Either they're just so fertile that they can just pop out babies, and they don't understand when somebody can't, or they don't understand that sometimes it's not even about whether you want a baby at this point or not, it's about whether you're ready to have a baby, in the sense of finances, whether you're both in a financial situation where you're ready, whether you've got your own place, whether you plan on staying at that place, you know, for a long period of time, to be able to have a baby, raise that baby before you actually find another place, whether your jobs are secure, whether you're happy in your role, you know, because it's harder to get a new job and move into a different industry when you're about to go on maternity leave, and then have a baby, and then take time off anyway. So there's all these factors that you have to consider before having children, and that's why they don't consider it. And that comes to the point of where the women typically stays at home, so they don't have this worry or added pressure of career, finances, where I want my life to move, in what direction, am I happy in the industry that I'm in, do we want to stay in this house, do we want to stay where we're living, in this town, in the city, because I feel like at this point there's so much more that I want to explore, and also I don't plan on living in this town where I'm living now. I would like to move somewhere else. And also now, if you look at stuff like being made redundant because of what's happening in the world, you know, you can't expect that stuff, and unless you're financially stable and ready, then it's pretty hard to then raise a kid, because then you've got somebody else to think about, not just yourself or your partner. So yeah, you're gonna get so much pressure on having kids, and if you are someone who's like just got married and you are from Malaysia or your Asian community, or you're marrying someone who is from a culture that has that, you know, has that sort of feeling of you need to have kids as soon as you get married kind of thing, or you need to stay home once you get married, then you know, you kind of have to talk about these things beforehand and stand your ground, because if you don't, you're just going to keep getting that in your ear all the time. And it can obviously hurt your soul, because if you're someone like me who does really want kids and it's not as easy as, you know, just having sex and popping one out, then you're just gonna crumble, because it's gonna really get to you. And one thing I've learned, which I also mentioned in my part 1, was that it's really important not to give up on who you are and what you believe, because if you do that whilst you're getting all this added pressure from other people, then you're just going to lose yourself and not realize that you're making a mistake, in the sense of you might leave a career that you're happy in, you might, you know, affect your mental health, you might have a baby if you're not ready to have a baby and stuff like that, because you just feel like you're trying to please other people. And I did that for so long, literally the first couple years of being married, and my whole relationship as well. And I've learned that I'm so much more happier that I am myself, and I can see that in my husband as well, because I know he wouldn't want someone who is exactly like him or from his culture, because he always says to me, like, if I wanted a Malaysian wife, I would have married a Malaysian wife, you know. And I'm so glad that he says stuff like that, because then it kind of takes that fear away from me of I need to be a certain way, because I don't, because he's happy with the way I am, and it's just his parents or his family that have these issues. So definitely just know where you stand and be confident on telling them or his family what you feel, because if you don't, you're just going to keep going in the same cycle of, okay, they want me to do this, I'm going to do it, and then I'm not going to be happy, and then I'm going to regret it later on. So, you know, there's some stuff that I wish I had stood up for myself with, but some stuff I just feel like there was no point. But now I'm much more happier, because I did certain things for myself and for my husband and didn't let them affect me. Thank you guys for watching this video. I know it's a little bit long, so I'll end it here. But if you'd like me to do another video like this, or even a part 3, let me know in the comments. I have a lot of other sort of marriage related experiences that I would love to talk about. So please let me know if that's something you want to see more of on my channel. I've got a lot more story times that I will be filming soon, so stay tuned for that, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button, because it really helped my channel out. It really helped me grow and be able to do more videos like this. So thank you guys again for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.